The sun was rising over the Zulu plains, golden light spilling over the tall grass, where mist clung to the earth like whispered memories. In the stillness stood a woman, tall, proud, and unbroken. Her name was Nandi Kabebhe, mother of Shaka Zulu, and though her body carried the weight of years and wounds, her spirit burned brighter than ever. They called her the Lioness of Elangini. But before the world knew her as queen or mother of a warrior, she was a woman who fought to be heard. Long before the drums of war echoed her son's name, Nandi had tasted humiliation. When she fell pregnant with Shaka, the Zulu elders called it shame. They said her union with Sentangakana, a Zulu prince, was improper. They cast her out, mocked her, stripped her of dignity, and left her to wander with her unborn child. But Nandi did not break. She told herself, if I must raise a son in exile, then I will raise a king. With nothing but her courage and her unborn son, she crossed rivers, walked through thorn fields, and faced hunger and ridicule. Yet she smiled when she felt the baby stir in her belly. She whispered, Shaka, my strength. You will not bow to any man. You will be the storm they cannot silence. Shaka grew under her watchful eye, tall, fierce, and clever. When other children laughed at him for his illegitimate birth, Nandi stood before them and said, mock him if you dare. His blood carries the fire of kings. She taught him that strength was not in cruelty, but in control. She taught him to observe, to listen to the wind, to read the movement of birds, to understand the rhythm of people's hearts. And in every hardship, she whispered, never forget who you are. When they deny you food, eat your pride. When they deny you love, build your own throne. Those words shaped him more than any spear or shield ever would. Years later, when Shaka rose as a warrior under the Mthethwa kingdom, his courage and discipline stunned all who saw him. He turned chaos into order, tribes into armies, and fear into power. But behind every victory, Nandi watched, not from a throne, but from the shadows. She knew her son's greatness would one day demand a terrible price. And still, she pushed him forward. You were not born to live quietly, my son, she told him. You were born to make the world tremble. When Shaka finally became king, he sent riders to bring Nandi home. The woman once scorned by the Zulu people now entered the royal kraal carried in honor, wrapped in leopard skins, as warriors bowed before her. The drums beat for her, the same drums that had once marked her shame. And when she stood before her son, she saw in him all the pain, the hunger, and the fire she had carried for so long. Shaka knelt and said, Mother, you were the first warrior I ever knew. Nandi smiled softly, placing her trembling hand on his head. And you are my vengeance upon the world. But greatness does not come without sacrifice. As the years passed, Nandi's body began to weaken. Shaka, now feared and adored in equal measure, built an empire with blood and brilliance, but his mother remained the compass of his soul. When illness struck her, he sat by her bedside for days, refusing to eat. She looked at him, the warrior who had conquered kingdoms, and saw again the little boy who once clung to her skirt in the rain. Do not let your grief turn to darkness, she warned. A king who cannot forgive becomes a ghost before his death. But Shaka's heart, already hardened by war, could not bear the thought of losing her. When she took her final breath, the sky seemed to darken with him. The queen's funeral became the most legendary mourning in Zulu history. Shaka declared that no crops be planted for a year, no milk be drunk. Even birds that dared sing near her resting place were slain. Some called it madness, others, devotion. But in truth, it was the final echo of Nandi's power. Even in death, she ruled through him, through his fury, his tears, and his legend. And as the fires burned through the night, the elders said they saw her spirit rise, not as a weeping ghost, but as a lioness standing beside her son, guarding his heart even in grief. Generations later, storytellers would say Shaka's spear was sharp, but it was Queen Nandi's will that forged it. She was the mother who defied kings, exile, and fate, the woman who taught Africa's greatest warrior that strength without purpose is nothing. And even now, when the drums of Zululand echo across the plains, the wind still seems to whisper her name, Nandi, the mother of thunder. If you are new here, please do not forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more interesting stories.